You should listen Final Fantasy XII soundtrack. Hello there, my name is eluukkanen. I'm a composer from Finland and I do listen music time to time. And I tell you, a soundtrack worth to listen is Final Fantasy XII. Oftentimes I get these questions, what is your favorite music? And I tell you that it's a bad question. It is a very bad question for the fact that it's the same kind of question like, what is your favorite food? Because there's a lot of food in the world. Like, do you expect to get a good answer from that? But instead, just giving you a service-based level answer, I'm going to make this video series called You Should Listen. And each episode is going to hold these songs that I tell you should go listen. Of course, these songs are some things that are very much something I like. But I tell you, I listen a lot of soundtracks. And I try to take this sort of neutral approach when just doing these kind of reviews and looks on these soundtracks. Because oftentimes, I could say that some nostalgic game from my childhood could be something I would say in here. And sometimes that might be the case, but instead, I'm going to bring you soundtracks that I think you are interested to listen, because there are reasons. I'm going to give you reasoning, I'm going to give you arguments why you should take your time to listen the things I mentioned here. So, let's get going. Before we do, however, I'm going to have a review of Final Fantasy soundtrack released tomorrow, Friday at 8 PM London time. And why is this special? Well, the thing is, I'm a music channel. I do music and I talk about music. However, I have not taken a consistent approach of making high quality reviews for music. And this is one of the ones I want to kick this whole thing off. I will make one of these every month, highly edited. I have a very good editor doing these. And the story behind this one is basically, if you know Final Fantasy as a series, there's this big composer, Nobuo Uematsu in the background in the picture. And Hitoshi Sakimoto is a composer for this specific one. First new composer to compose for mainline Final Fantasy titles. How can he live up for the name of Final Fantasy composer? We shall see. You should go and watch it. If you watch this stream afterwards, go and watch it right now on my YouTube channel. But back to Final Fantasy music. I tell you, Final Fantasy XII, it is very special. Of course, I played it. I have to admit, I did play this one when I was younger. But of course, I did play many games, and not all the soundtracks when I was young. I'm not going to show them. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, and this soundtrack is excellent in its approach for the game music itself. Because oftentimes, when you have video games, the certain structure binds the soundtrack itself. For the very reason that, of course, music soundtracks help the product themselves. The game, the film, or any other thing that the soundtrack is attached to. And Final Fantasy soundtrack, of course, does it. But because of the unique gameplay mechanic of having this dimensional battle system, because basically which changes the whole RPG formula of music, it is very unique. Because oftentimes in most RPGs, the music is tied to this kind of structure. First, background music. Then, when you stroll around, a battle ensues. And when the battle begins, the music dramatically changes. The whole thing changes. And the thing is, because of that, because the whole battle theme changes, the music, kind of the whole, it disrupts the gameplay flow of the things, because oftentimes, especially in earlier games, in earlier Final Fantasy titles, even in first Pokemon games, the battle music always was the same. And of course, repetitious battle music might not be good or bad if the game is short, but oftentimes Final Fantasy games, they are long. You play them so many times, so many occasions, and the battle music, when it always is the same, it will get repetitious, I tell you. I think this is one of the first titles that tried to circumvent the problem with the whole system. And the whole system is designed that when you go to battles, the music does not change. And this is, I think, why Final Fantasy XII soundtrack is very unique in what it does. For the very simple reason that the Final Fantasy XII music, when you go to these areas, these locations, these dungeons, the songs themselves are designed that you are able to listen them for very long periods of time while doing all sorts of activities. When you encounter enemies, the song does not change. Because of this, the songs have to be with a lot of variety. They have to work for both peaceful exploration themes, and at the same time they need to be something that can fit for a battle atmosphere. And this makes these songs, like, if you haven't even played this game yourself, I believe you will enjoy this. Because when you listen to soundtracks, you see all the areas and places where the soundtrack is played, the music is played, sometimes in sewer locations, sometimes in these kind of big fields and such. And every single time, they tell like a story. The whole songs tell like a story for you, and it goes all around. There's tonal changes. There are many parts within even one single composition, and I think that makes this very, very unique. It makes it something that even people who have not played this game will enjoy. Of course, there are battle themes, there are for specific bosses, and of course there are cinematic music. But as the composer himself stated, the Hitoshi Sakimoto, that he had to put a lot of time and a lot of thinking power to these area themes, for the fact that you had to do many actions within the game. And because of that, I believe they are very, very good. They are very, very varied, with a lot of variety, and they are very, very good with melodies, with the harmonies, and they change there are lots of different things, even within few compositions, within the same composition. And that is what I very, very much like about this soundtrack. If you're first time listening this soundtrack, and even if you have played Final Fantasy XII, I recommend not to go to the original soundtrack. Go to the remastered soundtrack of Final Fantasy which is basically Final Fantasy XII Zodiac Age. And you have to go there, because the thing is, this game was originally for PlayStation 2. And PlayStation 2, while it was good, the songs and the instruments were limited because of their hardware limitations. And for that reason, the original soundtrack, some of the instruments they use there have to be limited. They cannot be as realistic sounding. It all was fixed in the Zodiac Age. The original composer comes back to remaster the whole original soundtrack, even adding some new elements, of course, which change the originals, but still, he adds new elements and adds whole orchestra to play these old songs. And some of the songs, they might not be good. I think there are actually 2 songs in the Zodiac Age which I think the original does better. But the most of the soundtrack, for hours, I think the Zodiac Age does it really well. I recommend that you should listen Final Fantasy XII soundtrack. Thank you for watching, wherever you are, wherever you are. I wish you a good day. See you later.